What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here bringing you some more Series 9 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. Today we're continuing to play games with Jon Hu's team from the Players Qualifier, as we're kind of working our way back up to Masterball. So looking at this first game, it's a little bit interesting. They have a Metagross, Lapras with Garchomp, Crobat, a Tapu Fini, and Zapdos. So one thing I noticed after playing a couple games with this team is that it really struggles against Zapdos. Zapdos can pretty easily one-shot everything on the team. But on the same hand, my opponent doesn't really have a good answer to Trick Room. So what I'm thinking is Jinx Porygon 2, with the idea that we can try and fake out and set up that way. Then we have Marowak in the back for setting up under Trick Room, and I think Kartana is a really good option as well. It deals, it just actually really deals with Lapras. Articuno doesn't, and yeah, it deals with Lapras, which I think is a pretty big deal. Tapu Fini does have a little bit better coverage, but I think overall Kartana is a better option. So I think obviously the big thing to be afraid of, like I said, is the Zapdos, because of the fact that it has such big damage into me. But what I'm hoping is we can use the fact that we have Fake Out on Jinx to at least guarantee to set up that way. And then hopefully under Trick Room, we can really use the power of Marowak to get some big knockouts. So we're going to see a Tapu Fini with a Lapras lead. So this is actually really scary. And part of me doesn't want to set up Trick Room as a result, only due to the fact that... what am I saying? Only due to the fact that Kartana is actually a really big deal here, because we know they have two things that are going to be weak to something like a max overgrowth. So I think we should go for a fake out on the Tapu Fini, and then what? I don't want to. I could go for a Shadow Ball just to get some damage. Honestly, it has a chance of lowering special defense. I think it's really tricky though, just because of the fact that with Jinx we can't really. What is it called? We can't go for the Lovely Kiss, so I'm just trying to get some damage on a Tapu Fini. They're not going to max, which I think is a very interesting call. They're going to go, okay, straight for the Hydro Pump, but it's going to go into Jinx, and Jinx has that dry skin, and it's not going to affect it, which is actually a really good spot. I don't think my opponent realized quite how that interaction worked. We do get a nice crit, and on top of that, we do get the special defense drop, which I think is a really big deal overall for Jinx. Now the question is what? I do want to bring in Kartana, but I don't necessarily want to risk taking a hit. I feel like they're going to hit into Porygon this turn given the dry skin. So I think I'm going to switch out to Kartana, expecting a switch from Fini, and I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball. Do they have any normal types? They don't have any normal types. I'm going to Shadow Ball into the Lapras, because now what I'm afraid of is if they swap out the Fini into Metagross, and then I trigger a weakness policy with a Shadow Ball. So let's see. They are going to max Lapras. Like I said, I do expect a Resonance to come out into Porygon, and what I'm hoping is we can start going for some big max overgrowths from this Kartana, and hopefully pick up at least one knockout with it before it gets taken down. So they also did stay in with Fini, which I think is a little bit interesting, maybe a Calm Mind. We're going to see a Protect, which is actually even better, because now we don't have to worry about damage from that. And yep, we're going to see the Resonance, and I'm hoping, okay, so it is into Porygon 2. Porygon 2 is going to take that incredibly well, and they are going to get the Resonance up, but we do have a safe Kartana, which means that we can start going for max overgrowths, which I think is really big. And on top of that, I think the fact that we can switch the Jinx back in and go for something like that Lovely Kiss onto the Lapras. So Lapras probably is going to stay in. We didn't see an item. I don't think it's weakness policy. Nope, want to remember to max. Let's go for the max overgrowth here, and then swap out into Jinx, because now what I'm thinking is we can basically hopefully get a good amount of damage with this. They do bring out Zapdos, which is really scary. Like I said, Zapdos is a huge problem onto this team. The fact that it has Heat Wave, which can deal with Kartana and Jinx. The fact that like Thunderbolt does super well into just like most of my team. So I don't... It's going to be a little bit tricky. I think what we're going to have to do is try and put it to sleep, because I can't really see a better way of beating this Zapdos. We do have the advantage, hopefully, that Kartana is faster, so what we could do is, depending on this overgrowth damage, and I hope they're not policy, but some Laprases have been carrying it, we do get a pretty big chunk, to the point where I think oh no, because I was going to say they do get the recovery with overgrowth. Otherwise, I was going to say probably could be a 2-hit KO. We're going to see no policy on the Lapras, which is really good. Kartana from 286 down to 214. So we take it really well. And so what I'm thinking is, can we airstream into the Lapras and then have Jinx put it to sleep with a Lovely Kiss, right? Because Jinx, what is Jinx's speed? Jinx's speed is 146, so it is slower than a max speed Zapdos. This is, I think, a little bit risky. I think that we still go for it, because that Lapras does have doesn't have good damage. Actually, oh, did I just switch in Jinx? Can I fake out? What did I do? I swapped out Porygon. Okay, so I do have a fake out onto Zapdos. So let's go for that to get the speed boost. Okay, good. We can just get the fake out. I don't think it necessarily makes sense. I didn't actually have to go for Airstream this turn, but I think the fact that we can guarantee the speed boost and then hopefully pick up the knockout with Overgrowth the subsequent turn. Oh yeah, we will, because their max is going to end. They're still targeting into Jinx. I don't know why, but now we can Overgrowth the Lapras and hopefully put their Zapdos to sleep using using Jinx. And I think that will really help us out, because we can go for this here and then we can Lovely Kiss the Zapdos. Yeah, I think now it really just comes down to, will Lovely Kiss hit? We do have a pick. We should be able to pick up the knockout onto Lapras. We know that they have Tapu Fini in the back, so Kartana is a really, really valuable asset. We just have to figure out the best way to kind of keep it alive, and especially if we can get it to +1 attack and +1 speed, it should do a really good job. And then, okay, so they're going to switch out. So I'm guessing we're going to see what their fourth is. And their fourth is Metagross, which it should take a decent amount from this Overgrowth. I think my opponent has done a really good job at stalling out my max turns. And also there is the fact that there is the Resonance up. But yeah, even through that, we did manage to get a good amount of damage. We are going to be able to put that Zapdos to sleep, which I think is going to be a really big deal, because now we are going to be able to kind of set up on it, and we can get some big ice beams onto it. We can start damaging this Metagross, but it still is a question of, we know that they're probably going to Iron Head into Jinx. I still think we should go for the Sacred Sword here and the Ice Beam here, and I'm hoping that if we get Zapdos asleep for one more turn, this should be a 2-hit KO. Yikes, that is not doing much onto the Metagross, but yeah, we're almost going to be able to pick up... I was going to say we're going to pick up the knockout onto them, but this is actually fine. This is not the worst situation, because of the fact that we do have the Focus Sash, so Iron Head going to take us down to the Sash. The big question, though, is... we do get recovery on Jinx, which is always nice, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Zapdos most likely is going to protect. So what I'm thinking is bring out Porygon. And what I can do now is Trick Room. Yeah, we do need Marowak to clean up, which is a little bit scary, but not necessarily the worst. How many turns of Resonance? So they still have 3 turns of Resonance. So I think we go for a Trick Room here, and we Ice Beam the Zapdos. Because now what happens is, if they're going to protect. Their Metagross is going to go for the Iron Head onto Jinx, pick up the knockout, and we set up the Trick Room. Oh, smart. Very smart. Yeah, because if we flinch on Porygon, I think we lose. Okay, that's huge. Because now what we can do is Rain is ending this turn. We can bring out Marowak. Marowak can go for the Flare Blitz onto Metagross, and we can Ice Beam the Zapdos. And then it is going to be Tapu Fini and Lapras versus Porygon and Marowak, but I think Marowak hopefully has enough damage output to at least pick up 1 KO. And then it comes down to the question of what do I think is scarier, which I'm going to say is going to be, what's it called? It's going to be, I want to go for Poltergeist. I think I'm going to Flare Blitz the Metagross. Poltergeist, the 90 accuracy makes it a little bit tricky, and I don't want to risk it not connecting, because I think that would also kind of seal the game for us. We do easily pick up the knockout on Metagross, but I think honestly, like, Marowak is not going to be tanking any hits, and then hopefully this Ice Beam picks up the knockout on his Zapdos. Okay, so we do get the knockout. I think what we can try to do now, though, is there should be 1 turn of Resonance, so we can protect with Marowak and try and just get some more damage with Porygon 2 in the meantime. Lapras is almost knocked out, so what I'm thinking is we Shadow Ball into Lapras, hope it's a 2-hit while we protect, so we can Shadow Ball here, and then there is 1 turn of Resonance left. I'm going to protect. Obviously, we're risking Fini going for a Calm Mind, but not really much we can do about that. And I want to make sure the damage is as much as possible. So even better, Fini is going for Protect as well. So we do get the Shadow Ball onto Lapras. Hopefully it's a 2-hit KO. They're going to Hydro Pump, and it is even better going to go into Marowak. And I think now that the, the Aurora Veil is over, we should be able to knock out Lapras with a Shadow Ball. And then I think I have to risk the Poltergeist onto Fini. We'll get rid of its leftovers, which is really helpful. We do, okay, sick. We do connect. Let's see how much this does. Without the Veil, it is just shy of the knockout. So as long as we pick up the KO on Lapras, which we do, this should be game. So they smartly go for the Muddy Water. And 108. Oh, wow. And we have a double live. We do get the accuracy drop on Porygon, but I thought they get attacked. I thought they lose their item for Poltergeist. Interesting. I think the safer play, though, is to recover here and then go for another. The move fails. Oh, okay. So it only fails if they don't have an item. Cool. So we can go for another Poltergeist. The Protect makes sense. You're trying to stall out my turns of Trick Room. But I think we can safely get the Porygon healthy enough where I can just damage into it. And I think, going for a Shadow Ball this next turn alongside with Marowak going for the Poltergeist, I think it should be game. Because, the Fini's in the red. We do lose the Trick Room, but do I go for the Trick Room again? I think I do, right? Just to guarantee. Yeah, I think I want to go for the guaranteed Trick Room and then protect, expecting the Tapu Fini to go for a Muddy Water. And so we're trying to recreate the last scenario. Yep, you do go for the Muddy Water. I am risking... Oh, I was going to say, I am risking Porygon missing or having lower accuracy. So now, probably expecting the Fini to go for another Protect here to just try and recover as much HP as possible. And I think my opponent is doing a really smart job at stalling this out and trying to create a situation where they can come back. But yeah, I think... Oh, they're just going to run. Yeah, that one was tricky. I think that one... Zapdos, like I said, has always been a really scary thing for this team. And the fact that I was really able to, I think, utilize Jinx effectively to get in a position where I could deal with Zapdos. Because it just, I know in the past that has been a problem. So, okay, so they had Assault Vest Metagross, which I definitely was worried. So did they have weakness policy at all? They had Light Clay on the Lapras, which is something we realized. Pretty offensive base too, which is, yeah, they had Ice Shard with Freeze Dry and Hydro Pump. Did they have... They had Garchomp. I'm shocked they didn't actually have weakness policy on Garchomp, given the Ice Shard. Oh, wow. They had it on Crobat. So that's not something you see every day. I think that would have been really cool if my opponent had brought that out. And then, interesting that they had Calm Mind on Fini, but they never went for it. I think, though, it makes sense given the damage output of Marowak, you couldn't really risk it. And then, finally, yeah, we do see that Safety Goggles Zapdos. I think that's also, yeah, I've seen so many Zapdoses lately, and this team, just like I said, doesn't really do it well into it unless you kind of play around it aggressively. But good game so far, and yeah, let's just keep rocking and rolling and move to the next one. All right, game number 2, and we're looking at a Dragapult Colossal. So it's Dragapult Colossal with a Registeel, a Sock, Cradily, and Galarian Galarian Moltres. So this is interesting. I like Tapu Fini. I also like Marowak. What is Cradely's typing? It's Grass Rock. I think it's weak to water. I don't actually know. So this is a little bit weird. I also know that, yeah, I mean, it's tricky because they could have Max Overgrowth on Colossal. I'm going to lead Porygon Tapu Fini. I think that covers the most possible options that my opponent could have. I think Marowak in the back, and then what? Jinx is nice. I think Jinx for the Ice Beam? Ice Beam and Fake Out, really? I don't... Yeah, I mean, Dragapult Colossal is just a hard lead to play around just because of the fact that you can't fake out the Dragapult, and I think it'll really come down to if... Do I think that their Colossal has max overgrowth? Because, yeah, it is going to be Drag Colossal. I'm actually kind of tempted to protect and Trick Room to scout for it, because also the bigger fear though is if they swap out into what's it called, into Cradily, and it has Storm Drain. So I'm actually going to go for a Trick Room and protect, which I think is definitely a little bit weird. But like I said, I'm afraid of them either one, having max overgrowth, or two, yeah, this is what I was afraid of. They're going to bring out Cradily. Yep, there it is. So my suspicion was right. They do have a Storm Drain Cradily, which I think makes a ton of sense for this team, because you're like, oh, this is our answer to water types. And they're going to set up Light Screen, which, I think I know what Cradily has grass moves, so Ice Beam. Let's go for the Ice Beam on Dragapult. It is also super effective on Cradily, and I think swap straight out into Marowak, right? Yeah, let's swap out. Okay, wait. First of all, I want to make sure I do this right because I keep screwing stuff up like this. I'm going to Ice Beam into Cradily, and I'm going to swap out into Marowak. So we know 3 of their Pokemon. We know that Marowak is in a really good position because of the fact that like it doesn't have to worry about Will-O-Wisp from Dragapult. It can knock out Colossal, and okay, so they're going to switch out even better. So they're going to bring out Colossal, which is going to be slower. That it is Meteor Beam. The question is, where does that Meteor Beam go? This is actually a really bad situation depending on where it ends up. Because if they target into Marowak, I'm in like bad news. But yikes. That was really unfortunate. I don't know if my opponent just like made a read or just wanted as much damage onto Feeny as possible. So this is how I don't understand. So this is tricky because I don't actually understand how the Storm Drain mechanic works. If it's like Lightning Rod or if it's like something where you hit into it. So let's quickly look up Cradily on Cerebi. Yeah, but that read into the switch was huge and honestly like pretty game changing. So water type moves that are drawn to the Pokemon. Okay, so it is drawn to it. So we want to actually Ice Beam, and we can Calm Mind. Let's double up onto the Cradily. This is going to be tricky because it does have the special attack boost, but yeah, I think how do I even recover from losing Marowak? They are going to switch out Colossal. So they keep switching out that second spot, and I think if we they have Giga Drain. Dang it, that did so much. They're probably going to go back up to full. Not up to full, but close. So looking at where they are, down to there, it's about... Let's see how much it does with Moonblast. It's going to do... I think to the point where another Ice Beam will knock it out. So what I'm thinking is we Ice Beam with Porygon and Protect with Tapu Fini. So we do this and we Protect. Because if we can stop them from recovering, and if we knock out the Cradily, I think Tapu Fini is in a pretty good spot because it can deal with Colossal, it can deal with Dragapult. Porygon is offering really good support, but yeah, it's this Cradily, and it's that super good read with... Okay, that was also very smart. The fact that they read into me going for the Protect, and I should have hit into Dragapult. Yeah, hitting into Dragapult would have also been a very good read. They're going to Surf, which is fine. They're just trying to get some chip damage. So I feel like Surf is their only attacking move on Dragapult. And it's going to do, literally nothing into Porygon. So this is the last turn of Trick Room. I think, honestly, just go for the Ice Beam and go for Moonblast into Dragapult. I could double up again. Let's just go for the double up. The problem, though, is we're giving them a free switch in to Colossal after all of this is over. They're going to Giga Drain, rightly so. I think I should live. Yep, we're going to live because they are at -1 attack. And I'm hoping that we can pick up this knockout with Porygon and Tapu Fini. Yeah, it looks like it. But like I said, the issue now is you have a free guaranteed switch in into Colossal. Because, and you're just going to Surf. I can't stop the max. And what do I have in the back? I have Jinx. which I guess I have to max Porygon at this point. Yeah, so I'd have to Trick Room. But there's no terrain. We know that they were going to bring a Colossal, and we know that they want to max it. We know that we have no damage into it with Porygon, right? Because Ice Beam is going to do nothing, and, well, we do have Shadow Ball. So I think we Trick Room this turn, and we try and... Do we Lovely Kiss it? Let's go for the Lovely Kiss on a Dragapult. My thought process is if we can put it to sleep and we can set up the Trick Room and for some reason have both Jinx and Porygon survive, we will be the faster ones, so we can drop stats. And we can get Colossal to sleep. We can max the Porygon. We can double up into the Dragapult. Right? Do we double up into Dragapult? Maybe. Because I do want Dragapult gone. Or I think we split the damage. We Ice Beam into it with Jinx, and then we try and go for a Shadow Ball onto Colossal. But, I mean, this is all dependent on us surviving. They are going to get the Surf off. Jinx does have Dry Skin, so Jinx does preserve its Sash, which I don't think is a big deal because they're going to go for Volcalith. I'm expecting most likely to see the, what's it called? The Volcalith onto Porygon. I feel like, yeah, you definitely want to target into Porygon. They're going for a Flare, which I think keeps us in this game if we hit the Lovely Kiss. Because we know that the Dragapult does not have... so we do hit the Kiss, which is great, because they're guaranteed to be asleep the subsequent turn. So we can definitely get off at least one Shadow Ball. I think they're... Oh, just kidding, Dry Skin will take them out. We know that the Dragapult doesn't have good damage into us. I think we just Phantasm. Yeah, because we know that... We've seen Surf, we've seen Light Screen. I don't really expect it to have anything super, super aggressive. So what I'm hoping is we take advantage of the guaranteed sleep to get a Shadow Ball off. I don't think Shadow Ball, unfortunately, is a 2-shot. So actually it does make sense for them in that regard to have gone for Volcalith. I mean, not Volcalith, Flare. But if we can if we can finish off their max turns without them getting off the Volcalith, I think we should be in a really good spot. We are going to get Shadow Ball. How much is this going to do? Yeah, it's not going to do nearly enough. But they're going to Will-O-Wisp. They are going to miss, which is great. This is their guaranteed turn of sleep. Yeah, I think if we can basically, what is it called? We can have them, if they're asleep this next turn, I feel like we're in a really good spot. Because then their Colossal cannot set up the Volcalith, which I think is just like really detrimental overall. They are going to hit the Will-O-Wisp, which is going to be incremental damage every turn, but yeah, they're going to wake up. They're going to get the Volcalith, and I think that probably will seal it. Because even though like I still have a ton of HP, I am going to take Burn and Volcalith for the next like 4 turns, while they're going to slowly chip away at me. And like I still have one more turn where they're going to do damage, but actually, so their Colossal Max ended, so did their Light Screen. I think if we can live one more turn with Porygon, we can go for the Recover and basically try and Recover stall out the rest of this Volcalith damage, because we know that Dragapult has Surf and there is the Sun Up. So I'm hoping that it'll not do nearly that much. And so we are going to see the Protect on the Colossal. I think that's very smart, but yep, connect with this Max Phantasm. Even it still is looking very, very hopeless, which is unfortunate because, yeah, I don't really see. They do get the light screen up. Smart. I should have targeted into the. I should have targeted into the Dragapult with the Shadow Ball. I think that would have been really smart, but we are going to. Let's see if we. I mean, what? We can try and recover stall this. There's one turn. This is the last turn of Trick Room. I think we still go for the recover, but I honestly don't really see a way out of this. Yeah, I think losing Marowak so early, it pretty much like sealed the game. And we do see Breaking Swipe, so yeah, 121. I need to be what? I went from 26. Yeah, no, that'll do it. Yeah, definitely a tough game for sure. I think if we had been able, like I said, if we had gotten Marowak in, I felt really confident with the game overall. And I don't know if my opponent like just made the read, which I think was pretty obvious, or if they just like were trying to get damage onto Fini, but they definitely made the right choice. We do see a clear body, light clay, Dragapult, pretty standard weakness policy, Colossal. So interesting that they had Scald. They didn't actually have Overgrowth, so I could have gone for something like a Fini Max. They had Registeel, Sturdy Sock, which I don't know what they were trying to do with this. Interesting take. Storm Drain, yeah, that really, really put me in an awkward position where I was forced to kind of play around it, and then the fact that they were able to make the prediction when they did, and then finally a Life Orb Moltres. Yeah, very cool. I think it was still well played, even losing such a crucial part of the team, but yeah, let's just keep rocking and rolling and move right to the next one. All right, last game of the day, and we're looking at a Snorlax Whimsicott with Indeedee, an Urshifu, Spectrier, and Cinderace. Cinderace is a little bit scary. I Snorlax, I feel like I have to bring Marowak as a result, just to deal with that. Cinderace usually doesn't like Tapu Fini, but I know some of them do carry Gunk Shot. I do actually like Articuno a lot. I actually really like Articuno. I think if I can set it up, it's in a really good position. So I think I could also do Kartana's hard because of Cinderace. I'm going to do Jinx Articuno with Marowak and Tapu Fini. Right? Yeah, because now, I don't know, I'm afraid of redirection in DD and Belly Drum. Yeah, they could do redirection in DD and Belly Drum with the Snorlax pretty easily, but I'm hoping that if we can set up this is what I thought. It was going to be Snorlax and DD. So the fear is what? The fear also though is the Indeedee goes for what's it called? Trick Room, and having a Tailwind up during Trick Room would be really bad. So we are gonna see the Psychic Seed. I think we Lovely Kiss the Snorlax. Yeah, this is so hard. Because if I get this wrong, like it's going to be another one of those cases where it kind of seals the game. Okay, so they are going to follow me, which is nice because I do expect them to go for a Belly Drum the subsequent turn. We do get off the Tailwind, which is great. And if we can put... the Indeedee unfortunately avoids the attack. They are going to be able to, as a result, get the Belly Drum off on Snorlax. So I think this is an Explosion Snorlax. I'm still going to Lovely Kiss Snorlax, and I'm going to protect the Articuno. Because I've seen Explosion Snorlaxes before where they have that berry, and I don't want this to be one of those cases. They are going to follow me. I just need to hit this Lovely Kiss. We do connect onto Indeedee, which is great because we can now hopefully get some big damage onto this Snorlax this subsequent turn. Yep, Jinx is going to go down to its Sash. I could try and put it to sleep. Oh, I have Expanding Force. I'm going to Expanding Force and Freezing Glare the Snorlax. I think this is a big risk. Because what? They could easily actually max. But they do have to take 2 hits. I think if they don't max, this could be a pretty good position. Expanding Force from Jinx, max special attack. Okay, so they are going to max. We still have Marowak, which I do feel comfortable with because of the fact that Marowak can just do a ton of damage into Snorlax. And we do have Feeny as well, which will reset the terrain and help deal with the fact that Indeedee can go for redirection. So, okay, so we're going to get the Freezing Glare off. It does a little bit. And, yeah, that's going to proc the berry, unfortunately. Yeah, okay, and it's a Figgy Berry. An Expanding Force is going to get it kind of low. So we know that these two are dealing more damage than the berry is recovering, but they are going to be able to knock out, what's it called? They are going to be able to get the Figgy boost, and they're going to knock out Articuno, which is unfortunate because, yeah, they did recover a fair bit. I think, though, we can bring out... Yeah, we can bring out Marowak. The fear, though, is if Indeedee wakes up this turn... If Indeedee wakes up and is able to get redirection, that's really bad. But if they don't, I feel like this Flare will finish off the Snorlax. And so now it really depends on, is this Indeedee going to wake up? And then, yeah, once again, I feel like this is a game that is dependent on sleep turns, but yeah, let's see. The Great Ball is always the toughest part of the month. That's what I kind of remind myself during some of these battles. So Indeedee not even trying to go for a Follow Me, which is a pretty good position. This should pick up the KO on Snorlax. And we're going to see... Yep, Snorlax is going to go down. I'm assuming that means that the Indeedee is trying to wake up and go for a Trick Room, which I think is fine. Marowak is fairly slow overall. And, okay, great. They're still asleep, which is perfect because Indeedee's horrible and I don't like it. We do end up, unfortunately, taking out our own Jinx as a result of the Dry Skin, and we no longer have Tailwind. So that's actually a little bit tricky because now Tapu Fini's spread moves are not going to do as much. But at the same time, we can try and Calm Mind and make it so even if they Trick Room, we'll be fine. We are going to see Urshifu. So, yeah, that's hard because Urshifu is going to be faster than me. I have to Moonblast here, and I could go for a Max Guard. I'm going to actually go for the double up. I think it's really risky. The Indeedee is actually guaranteed to wake up. So that's, yep, unfortunate. Because you're guaranteed the Follow Me, which means that the Urshifu... Oh, Sucker Punch. Okay, so not as much as I would have... Or not as much as I had expected. So we still have one turn... Okay, so we still have one turn of max left. And so what that means is we can Moonblast, right? We have one turn of max left. We can Moonblast the Urshifu the next turn. Or what? I feel like you have to go for Wicked Blow. Luckily, I mean, what? Tapu Fini will beat Urshifu one-on-one. Oh, and they have Spectrier. I feel like I have to Calm Mind with Tapu Fini. And then I guess Max Phantasm Spectrier. We do have a special defense boost, which is helpful. This is, I mean, so one of these has a Focus Sash. I assume it's the Urshifu, and the Spectrier has a Life Orb. We do survive. Yeah, okay, so we're going to see the Life Orb on the Spectrier, and we're going to see the double up, into the Marowak, which is great. Because now Tapu Fini is going to be able to get up the Calm Mind. And so, we have 2 turns of Sun left. But we are in a decent spot. I think we, try and break the Sash on Urshifu. Spectrier, there's 2 turns of Sunlight left. Actually, let's Moonblast the Spectrier, because let's try and pick up that knockout. And then, let's see, so 177 down to 141. We do get the special defense drop, which is fine. The bigger question is how... Oh, what? You have Iron Head? 141 down to 9. Oh, my God. And you get the flinch. That's so unfortunate. Okay, so I didn't expect Iron Head or Shifu. Yeah, I think that should be game, especially with the special defense drop. Because we're going to go down to 58. And then 58 down to 13. We're going to get a double flinch, which honestly, given the fact that I got 3 turns of sleep, I can't really complain too much about. But I do think, I think that's kind of frustrating in the end. But what is worse, 3 turns of sleep on your Follow Me and DD, which wouldn't have mattered in the end, or 2 turns of flinch versus Tapu Fini, which honestly, I think if it hadn't been for those flinches, we would have knocked out Spectrier, and then we would have been able to finish off the Urshifu going for 2 more Moonblasts. Yeah, so still in Great Ball, still pushing through. Hopefully we can finish strong tomorrow and be back to Masterball, like I said, hopefully by the end of the weekend at the absolute latest. But yeah, until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.